Hello everybody and welcome back. It has just a bit windy. The audio of this is going to be horrific, I can just tell. Welcome back. It is, do you mind? I'm filming. I'll just wait for it to stop. Ooh, not that. That's much better. Welcome back, everybody. It has been a hot minute, because I have been a hot mess. This has been 30 degrees. No, seriously, I've been really struggling, so decided to take a break. But we are back with a bang, with a new series, which is basically just me explaining all the mental health issues that I have been struggling with these years. So I'm just basically reciting the NHS page, but I want them to be informative and truthful, and I trust the NHS, so go figure. The audio on this is going to be horrific. I can just tell I'm going to have to refilm it because of the wind, so oh well. Here we go. So today's video is about generalized anxiety disorder. So the symptoms of this is feeling restless, feeling worried, like having difficulty concentrating, difficulty sleeping, feeling dizzy, heart palpitations, like all these really lovely things that I deal with on a daily basis. No, I'm not gonna do this. Having a trying to keep these videos as like real as possible, but I'm like probably having like a funny day today, so we'll just keep that there. So people can experience anxiety at like any point in their life, but you need to get help and seek help from your GP if it is like affecting your daily life. Like if you're struggling to function on a day-to-day basis because of it, then you should go to the GP and they will offer you some sort of support. So causes of generalized anxiety disorder are research suggests it can be an overactivity of areas of the brain involved in emotional behaviour, an imbalance of serotonin and noradrenaline, which I'm going to explain now. So let's check it out. Hello everybody and welcome to this very professional PowerPoint. So what we have here is a diagram of the neuron in the brain, and what you see is the neurotransmitters at the top in the first bit of the neuron. You see a gap, which is a synapse, and then the next bit of the neuron. So the neurotransmitters need to get across from one bit to the other. They transfer across. And so these chemicals transfer. And in the case of anxiety, what can happen is there's too many or not enough. There's an imbalance in the amount of the neurotransmitters going across from each bit of the neuron. So it can cause anxiety because the serotonin is known as the happy hormone. So it can make you sort of a bit jittery. The noradrenaline is a different story. That's to do with receptors on the kidneys, I believe. So the neurotransmitters go from one bit to the receptor and the next. And the idea of the Ssris I'm about to talk to you in a minute is that they stop the reuptake of excessive amounts of serotonin back up into the first bit of the neuron and allow it to sit in the synapse, I believe, but don't quote me on it. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments because I'd really like to learn. So that's serotonin and noradrenaline and other neurotransmitters. Another reason why people might develop generalized anxiety disorder is because of genetics. It can be a genetic thing. You could be genetically more likely to develop it. It could be because of a trauma. It could be because of a painful long-term health condition or drug and alcohol misuse. But also people can just have it for like no apparent reason. So about 5% of the UK population suffer from generalized anxiety disorder. So when you go to the doctor, they'll probably offer you some sort of treatment. They did for me, so I assume it's the same for other people. If not, then I'd love to hear about that in the comments if you feel like commenting, or if enough people watch it that it gets comments. So the first one on my list I have is that they can offer you something called an Ssri, which is a serotonin synaptic. They're called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and they increase levels of serotonin in the brain by stopping the reabsorption or the reuptake of serotonin into the neuron, which is the bit at the top, and make sure that there's more sat in the middle to improve the transmission of messages between the neurons. The other thing they can offer is cognitive behavioural therapy, and that is a style of therapy that works on your cognitive functions and how you think and your thought processes. I've never had it, so that's just my understanding of it. If I'm wrong, then I don't know. I got offered SSRIs, okay, and I took them, and they didn't work for me. So here we are. The other option that they can give you, or that they can offer to you, is that they can suggest some ways that you can help yourself. They can offer sort of suggesting exercise, that you cut down alcohol and drug use, the NHS apps library, which I will show a picture of some of these apps now. Final thing that I have on my list of self-help ways that they can suggest is that they might suggest, if you're a smoker, that you stop smoking, because smoking in the short term can help with anxiety. People find it quite calming. Certainly you have to focus on your breathing. In the long term, it tends to have a detrimental effect, so you tend to increase anxieties. So that is it for this little video on generalized anxiety. In my experience, it's been a pretty difficult disorder to deal with. I was first the word anxiety first came up in regards to me when I was about 15, and my mum took me to the doctors and they said that I had anxiety. I was formally sort of diagnosed by a doctor in 2017, and then this year, thanks to the university, I had a psychiatrist assessment and he diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder. So that is how I came about to this. That is my little story. If people actually want to hear how I've coped with anxiety, how it's affected me sort of over those years, then I can do a video on that. It just depends on what people want. I mean, feel free to kind of let me know, message me or something. And please like the video and subscribe, because it makes me happy when people do that. It makes me feel like all the stuff I put into editing, because I do put effort in, is worthwhile. So there we go. And finally, please follow me on Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams. I have a poetry account, Luna with 2 L's, so LLUNA _poetry. And also I now have an Instagram dedicated to this YouTube channel, which is at Ellen Hazel, so the same as my YouTube username. So please give those a follow, because I will be updating with content and I would love to interact more on Instagram stories, etc. Thanks for watching. Bye!